What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Faith Over Fear podcast.
We're your co-host, Aylin and Crystal. Man, so we're finally in season 5. It's so cool to say, it's so cool that we're in this stage, we're in this season 5. It's so crazy to see where God has taken us since the very first season. I feel like whenever we do an introduction video, we always like to kind of think back to season 1, just because for those who know, there's just so much that goes into having a podcast, and I just feel so privileged that we get to continue it. God gets to refresh it. You guys get to walk along with our journeys, and also just talk to you guys about our relationship with God. And I'm super excited for this season, because this season's gonna be a mixture of so many things. And of course, you guys are still seeing us, that we're having this season as well through Zoom, just because, of course, for those that maybe missed an entire season, I moved to Tennessee and Crystal is in Texas. So that's why our setup is different from our previous seasons. But nonetheless, I'm super excited to see what God has in store.
Yes, I'm excited for this season. I feel like today I'm really excited. I don't know why when you called me, I was like, which is funny because there was times where we didn't even want to film. So I feel like it's a good mindset. I feel like in the last few weeks, I've just had this mind switch, because I remember that I prayed to God and I was like, God, I want to reach the mountaintop, I want to get to the promised land. I see people that are always from glory to glory, from mountaintop to mountaintop. And I was like, I want that. I'm tired of roaming in the wilderness. I'm tired of climbing, And then it's kind of funny because I saw a little thingy on Instagram, and it was the mountaintop exposes you. And I was like, whoa. When I saw that, I was like, okay, keep me where I am and keep molding me. Keep molding me, because once you finally reach the mountaintop, that exposes you. And I want to, once I'm at the mountaintop, I want it to be good, And I'm the climbing and the getting up there is hard, and it's wilderness, climbing, you're tired, you're exhausted. But all of those circumstances are building you and molding you. And if you skip that, then once you're at the mountaintop, it's not good, So once I saw that, it was a mentality switch. And I feel like it's just been little things that I've been seeing, that it's okay, you need to be grateful. I saw something that said that we complain about our job because we have a job. We complain about XYZ because we have it. And it's whoa, because if we didn't have it, we would be complaining because we don't have it, And I was just I feel like I'm just in this new mindset where I'm grateful for where I am, and God showed me real quick, once you get to that mountaintop, it's going to be from glory to glory, but don't skip the refining, don't skip the preparation, don't skip the climbing, you need all of that to get to where you're going. And it was just, I don't know. I think that's why and today's just been a good day overall, so I'm really cheery today.
No, that's good. And I feel like I can definitely relate to what you're saying. It's so crazy that you're saying this, because literally yesterday night, me and my mom, we were having a conversation where I was also saying the same thing, I want to see difference in my life. I want to be available. I want to be an instrument for God, just like you said, to put us into this situation where it's glory to glory, of you want, because you want to see impact, you know what I mean? You want to see impact, and you're seeing it from so many other people, you know what I mean? So many other people grow, people that are in secular aspects. You see them grow, you see them do this and that, and of course, I get the whole situation, we talked about this in the previous season, where we need to build our kingdom in heaven, and then everything else shall follow. But at the same time, I told God, I don't want to be someone that I don't want the reason why my blessing is being held behind because of me. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I want to move, you know, just like you said, like, in order to get to the top, you need to be climbing. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to ask God, help me to start climbing. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
sometimes, like, we say, like, oh, we want to do this, we want to be up there, you know, but what are we doing to get up there? Are we already starting the process? Are we already starting the climbing? And I really like how I saw this reel that said that sometimes God, whenever you start feeling like this tug of uncomfortableness in areas that you were comfortable in, that means that God is telling you, like, you need to move. You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
asking me for this, or I have this for you, but where you are now, your mentality, physically, spiritually, isn't adaptable to where I want to take you, you know. So, like, let's
Yeah.
say that you were comfortable doing this, but then, like, out of nowhere, you're not feeling comfortable anymore. It's because God is telling you, like, I need you to move. Like, you're not, this is not where I meant you to, like, this is not the only thing that I meant for you. You know what I mean? Because I always had this mentality that God is going to do big things and that God can do big things. But sometimes, just like you said, Crystal, we have to prepare ourselves for those big things. You know what I mean? Like, we have
Yes.
goals, we have, you know, like, visions and stuff like that for God's glory to be seen here on earth. But what are we doing for that to happen? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like a mindset that I also have too, where it's like, in order to be up there, it's true, you know, we're going to be exposed. It's going to be much more, yeah, like, exposure whenever you're up there.
Yeah.
But the climbing, the process, it's what's going to help you, that whenever you are up there, you know, you, like, only God can be glorified, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know what I mean? And of course, life won't be perfect, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm in a time in my life where I'm just kind of like, okay, God, let's do the next thing. You know what I mean? I don't want to be
Yeah.
comfortable in this blessing and then stay here for like X amount of time. Like, okay, let's go to the next thing and the next thing. But it takes time, and but also prayer. You know, it also takes obedience. It also takes getting into the word, fasting, because yes, there's going to be doors that are going to be opening because you're walking towards them. But just like we mentioned the last season, some things fall into your lap because God sees that obedience. But I feel like there should be like a healthy balance where we make ourselves available and we're moving and we're putting action into our faith, but at the same
Yes.
time, like, building our kingdom, being obedient, allowing God to, you know, move, keeping our faith, staying still when He asks us to stay still. And I feel like, you know, it's just like having to talk to God so you can discern when you need to move and when you just need to stay still. I feel like
Yes.
I was low key, like, all over the place because I feel
No.
like I was trying to, like, put my thoughts into words, so hopefully that made sense. But I can definitely, like, see your point
No.
of view, and it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy because, just like I said, like, me and my mom, we talked something similar like that last
Yeah.
night.
No, I feel like it was good. It flew. It flowed. It yes. No, but yeah. The climbing and the before getting to the top is your fuel for when you are there. You know, um. Every single trial that you're going through right now, God is going to use to impact somebody else's life when the time is right, you know?
Yeah.
And these are hard things, but people will be blessed
Yeah.
by the crushing of you, you know? And that is what ministry is. You know, ministry is literally like you are being crushed so that you like the crushing your crushing produces the oil for somebody else, you know, kind of like when olives are being crushed and then the oil comes after. So if you're going through something hard, if you're going through something difficult, just know that it is all part of the plan, and God has the pen and He's writing your story, and you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry because even if it's difficult, He's right there. And if He's right there, then you have all that you need. You know, it says He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. So He's going before you. So if you're going through this difficult season of suffering, just know that He is going with you. He's going before you. He's leading you through it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. That's really good. Yeah, like I feel like this month, we always take a month off for us to be able to kind of like, rest, since we do like to film every other Saturday and then 2 episodes, per day. So it was just like a month for me of like a lesson learned, reflection, trusting God, moving forward, activating my faith even more, but putting action into my faith as well. It was also a month of transition. If you guys notice, my background is different from season 4, and I feel so blessed and can't wait to tell you guys this testimony. It's going to be in the next episode. Yeah, so I'm just super like, just like, it's because I'm just thinking of like this month were so many tears. This month was so much joy, fear, faith. Like I can't wait for you to guys, like for me to tell you everything that has happened for me to be sitting where I'm sitting right now. And obviously whenever you step in victory, the enemy doesn't like that, but always have that in mind. You're on victory, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
obviously, like, things are going to shake, things are going to move, but you just have to like position yourself and have your vision locked into Jesus, because whenever these things happen, like it could either kill your faith or it can activate it. So you also have the choice to do that. And I just, grabbed myself into God's hands and I'm trusting in him. It's so funny because it also reminds me of this other reel. This one's a funny one where it's like, whenever God tells you, do you trust me? And then he was like, okay, hold on. And he's like taking you like that. I don't know if you've seen that one. And you're like,
Yeah.
when it comes to like God taking you to that, next
Yeah.
destination or whatever the case may be. So that's why that's going to be in the next episode. I'm super excited to let you guys know everything that has happened. And the best part for me is that for this month, God gets glorified. Like literally, this whole situation, everything, it's because of God, it's because of him, and he orchestrated it. He was the one that took over, and I was just like a mere instrument, taking the blows, taking, the joy. And so, yeah, so that's why I don't want to give too many details, but I just wanted to kind of like let y'all know why you guys are seeing like a different environment. And so, but I am going to be changing. This is still like a process. Like I feel like in other videos you guys will see me like in different areas, just because I'm still trying to see like what I want to build, like a little cozy, I want to build like a little designated area for like whenever we do film. So yeah, that's my point of view for this month. It was just a lot of trusting, and it was just a lot of like giving myself to God during this month, literally.
That's good. That's awesome. God is good. I'm excited. I feel like I'm walking into change. Like God has been moving in my life in interesting ways, and I'm just really excited for what he's about to do. Um I feel like for a really long time I've been obedient even when it doesn't make sense. And it's really hard. It's really hard to walk in obedience when it just doesn't make sense to other people. It doesn't make sense. I guess physically, logically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But our God is greater than logical. Our God is greater than logic. And I just feel like he's getting ready to do something, and I'm just really excited. Hopefully sooner later in this season. I mean, yeah, I just feel like he's gonna do great things, and I'm really excited. But I mean, with everything, there's always gonna be trials. Even when you reach your destiny, you're still gonna have trials. And I think that that's something that we mistake. We think that once we reach wherever we're going, that's it. But the thing is that we're always going to have those trials. So every
Yeah.
trial that we go through is building our character. And if our character doesn't change, if our character doesn't grow, then when you reach your destiny, it's going to be the same story over and over again, because you didn't allow God to change your character. You kept that same character. So when you get there, it's like that same constant complaining, that same constant mentality. So that's why I think it's very important to endure everything and just listen to what God wants to teach you, you know, in any season. Ask God, like, what do you have for me? What do you want me to learn from this, you know? And keep growing. Growing is not easy. Healing is not easy. It's probably one of the hardest things that I have ever had to go through, because you literally have to surrender your will. You have to surrender what you know to God and just let him rewire your brain. Let
Yeah.
him break down walls in your heart and just let him just do something completely different, you know? And that's really hard, especially when everything you know is being completely reconstructed. And there's moments where you feel like God is silent, but you you know, kind of like when you have your GPS on and you're going somewhere and you lose connection, but it doesn't turn off the GPS, but you lose connection, so it's not updating, but you still know where you're going, you know? And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how it is with God. Like, we're still walking and sometimes it seems like he's silent, but just keep going. Like, don't stop because you can't hear him and turn around, or um get on the side of the road and stop, you know? Like, no, keep walking even if you can't hear God. If he instructed you to go this way, keep going, and when it's time to turn, he will come back in and be like, turn left. I don't know
Yes.
why that GPS thing just but yeah, like, keep trusting God, keep walking forward even if it hurts, and trust and believe with all your heart that he is faithful, because time after time after time he shows us throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament that he is a faithful God. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are trusting him with all of your heart,
Yeah.
he's gonna come through because he is faithful.
Yes. Yes, that's true. And I feel like your words remind me a lot of the book of Job, because I'm currently reading that right now. But it's so cool to like getting like a different perspective of it. You know, just like you said, you know, sometimes God's process, the trials, they're not logical. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like for him, it wasn't logical to lose everything that he lost because he was a good, you know, person. Like he was obedient to God. He like didn't do anything bad. He didn't sin. Like it wasn't like this punishment of like, okay, I need to take this away. It was just more so God wanted to see his heart posture,
Yeah.
because, you know, obviously the enemy was like, well, it's because he's good, because you have blessed him so much. Like obviously, like who isn't going to follow you with all those blessings, you know? So obviously
Yeah.
he took it. But in Job's POV, he didn't see that. You know what I mean? He kept on like, because like there was a moment where he was like, okay. But then like at the end, he was just like, God, this is too much. You know what I mean? He was like, I know that you're so good. I still love you. I still trust in you, but I am literally a mere human. You know what I mean? There's only so much that I can take. Like, I'm hungry, like, I'm in pain, like, I'm sad, I'm fearful. You know what I mean? This is uncomfortable. So I need you. If you're putting me in this situation, it's because you're with me. So I need you to help me. You know what I mean? And he did like tell God, he was like, you know, if this is going to be my life, then I just rather would die. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, like for him, like, because he didn't, like, he was like, I still love you and I still trust in you, but I don't want these negative emotions to get in between us. So that's why I rather die. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to come to a point where I'm not trusting you anymore. You know what I mean? But God comes like, obviously, like in the perfect time whenever we feel that desperation, because sometimes God wants us to feel desperate. He wants us to feel uncomfortable so we can like
Yes.
call out to him. You know what I mean? And it's like crazy because like his friends, I got to read what they told him, and it's so cool because like technically what they told him, it's true, like it makes sense. And he even said that, he was like, no, everything that you're saying, like it makes sense, like it's true, like, you know, you're actually like telling me the right things, but it doesn't apply to me because I didn't do anything, because they were accusing him that he sinned, and that's the reason why God is punishing him. You know what I mean? So like it's cool for him to be like, no, like I like it's like for him to be like, it's true what you're saying and it makes sense and it's good, but it doesn't apply to me. You know what I mean? So that's why they get onto him like, how are you going to tell us it doesn't apply to you? Look at your life. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to tell you the same thing. Like, look at your life. Like, how are you going to tell me that God is good? How are you going to say that this is and that? You know what I mean? But because God is not logical, and sometimes not even we would have all the answers. You know what I mean? Job didn't have the answers of why he's going through this. He just knew that God knows best, and we're just mere humans that we need to trust him. But does it still hurt us? Does it still causes us pain? Like, yes, it does. But at the same time, it ignited desperation. It ignited calling out to him. And sometimes, and that's the hard posture that God wants us to see. Like, whenever we're in the storm, whenever we're going through the most like heinous thing, are we going to call out to him, or are we going to run to the world? You know what I mean? And Job didn't. He called out to God. You know what I mean? And in that moment, it didn't fix it right there and then. It still kept on like telling him like, you know, just like reminding God, like, I'm human. Like, if only there was someone or something that can help you understand. And I was just like, wow, like it was pretty much a buildup for Jesus, you know, to come. You know what I mean? Because I also really love that that verse that said, like, if only there was a way for you to be able to understand, because I need you to understand that I'm literally just human, and this is why I'm complaining, not because I don't love you, not because I don't trust you, but because I'm human. And so it was just cool, because I feel like it was a buildup. It was like a foreshadowing for God to come and descend and, you know, bring Jesus here, for him to actually understand us in the flesh, you know, understand our fears, our sadness, our pain, and all that as like as a human. So that's why, you know, he did the biggest sacrifice for us. And so ultimately at the end, I guess, like, I'm still not done with that book, but we already know like how it ends. But I just really like the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like, where he started, the middle, the process, for him to be able to get double, for him to be able to get his rewards. And I feel like at the end of the day, he still doesn't even know why it happened, because obviously God didn't tell him the whole interaction with the enemy. But through it all, Job was like, okay, I don't need to know. You know what I mean? All I know is that during that process, you were with me, you were good, you understood me, and you rewarded me even when you didn't have to. You still gave me double. So I'm going to continue praising you, not because you gave me double, but because you were there with me whenever I had nothing. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just having to realize that sometimes we won't understand, and sometimes we don't need to understand, but it also gives you like the liberty to tell God, you know what I mean? And now he does, you know, in those times he did it because Jesus wasn't on earth yet, but now he does. Like, that's why there's mercy. That's why there's second chances. That's why there's this. That's why he turns things around. That's why whenever we do bad, he still makes it for good. You know what I mean? Because now he actually understands that we're literally just humans, and we are going to be afraid. We are going to be sad. We are going to be desperate. But I love that he uses that to draw us near him. You know what I mean? So it was just a good reflection.
Yes, I love that you brought that up, that it was a foreshadow to Jesus, because we're literally just human, you know, not to like say because we're human we do all these mistakes, you know, like, and say blame it on humanity. But Jesus literally understands now, you know, when we're complaining or when we're like, I don't get it, like, he understands, and you can talk to him about that, you know. And it's something that I didn't know before. Like, before building my relationship with God, I didn't know that I could talk to God about the temptations I was having. I didn't know that I could talk to God about the fact that I wanted to commit this sin, but I knew it didn't honor him. I would just run. You know, I would just hide, kind of like Adam and Eve hid when they messed up. I would hide and then push him away, and then eventually fall into that sin, you know. But I love that you brought it up, because we can talk to God about these things, and he understands, you know, and he paid the price. So if you just go to Jesus when you're in temptation, when you're having intrusive thoughts, when you just want to give up, talk to God about the fact that you want to give up, and he will send someone, he himself will reveal something to you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important. We can talk to God about anything. We can talk to God about even things that we want to do that we know are wrong, and ask him for help. Even if our heart posture isn't right, we can tell God, like, I don't like this person. I don't want to love this person. Help me love this person.
Yes.
And I think that's the beauty of prayer, just being real with God, telling him, like, I don't like these people. Help me love them,
Yeah.
or I know you want me to do that, but I don't want to do that. So help me decrease so you can increase, and little things like that we just don't realize that we can talk to God. That one story where he's like, help me, or what does he say? He's like, help me believe. I don't remember what it says. Like, it's a story in the Gospels, and he's like, help my unbelief. Like, I want to believe, but help my unbelief. And that's how it is now. And I think we've talked about it before, but it just came up again. Ask God to help you. Ask God to remove things. I remember when I was like probably like 16, 15, 14, who knows, around there somewhere. I would ask God for forgiveness, but I knew that I was going to do that sin again, and technically, like, I wasn't really going anywhere because I was asking for forgiveness, but I was literally going to do it again, and I didn't plan on stopping. So instead of asking for forgiveness, be like, Lord, I'm struggling with this sin and I can't stop doing it, and I need your help because I know that this doesn't honor you. And
Right.
if this doesn't honor you, like, I don't want to break your heart, so help me stop, and he will. He does, because he understands. He was here, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I got off on that.
No, yeah, it definitely makes sense. And I feel like it just goes, with what we're saying, because I feel like, that needs to be talked about a lot, where, it's okay to just go to him, because he literally is your partner in life. You know what I mean? He is the person that can help you out. He's your team member. He wants the best for you. He wants you to win. But in order for that person, it's kind of like your lawyer. You know what I mean? Whenever they go and they interview, he's like, okay, I need you to tell me the truth. Like, what happened? Tell me in detail. I need to know so I can be able to help you. And that's the same thing with Jesus. He's our lawyer, and he's like, okay, tell me everything with details, with everything, because I need to know it. I need it to, because like, he knows it, but he still wants to hear from you. He still wants to hear all of the little details. And as well with the doctor, you know what I mean? He can't heal you if you don't show him what's going on. If you just continue, like, let's say you have a cut here, but you hide it, the doctor's not going to be able to know that you're injured. And that's the same thing with God, like, open up to him, tell him, I have this womb, I have this, like, open, like, sometimes it's closed, but sometimes we open it again, like, and that's okay to be like, yeah, I know that you just healed me, but I need you to heal me again, you know what I mean? But he wants you to, like, go to him so you can so he can actually do something about it, you know what I mean? And so that's where you're putting action into your faith, that you're going to God, you're opening yourself up to him, and you're showing him the wounds that you have, and letting him operate, and letting him be your defender. You know what I mean? Yes. So that's what they always say, like, he's the lawyer, he's your doctor, he's your friend, because literally, in order for you to actually receive the full benefits of it, you have to go to them with details, with everything. Because, when you go to a doctor's office, they always ask you, like, what happened, this and that, so they can get into the bottom of the whole situation. And that's God as well. He wants to get into the bottom of it. He wants you to open those doors, unlock all of those locks that sometimes that we have, so he can actually go in there, because he's a gentleman. Just like we mentioned, he knows it and he can do it, but he's a gentleman, and he wants to make sure that he has, like, your permission. And it's kind of crazy to think about. And that's how like, how gentle he is, how nice he is, like, he doesn't barge in just like the enemy. Like, he does barges in, he doesn't ask for permission, and God does. Like, even to heal you, he's still asking permission, because he wants to make sure that, like, he is able to like how can I say it, like it won't cause you more harm than good, if that makes sense. But there, you know, just like I said, like every single relationship with God with each person, it's very different, and I know that my walk looks different than yours and like with Crystal's. So discover that, you know what I mean, go to him, discover that unique relationship that you have with God, because it's gonna look different. All walks look different, all blessings are different. My blessings are not your blessings, your blessings are not my blessings, and so that's why we have to like look at our pace, look at our relationship, understand God, and to know why he has us in this specific I guess you can say like place in our life, and you know, just not look at others. And you know, but it's hard, like I said, it's easier said than done. So that's what we have to cultivate it, that's what we have to work on it every single day, because even though we're saying this, it's still something that I know that I'm still working on and that I'm still trying to cultivate. And because I am trying to cultivate it, that's why I'm like advising you, because it helps and because that's like the best thing to do. So yeah,
Yes.
so hopefully that made sense.
I love where this conversation went. I feel like we didn't really plan it.
Yeah.
We were just introducing this
Yes,
season 5.
literally, yes.
But
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like God was intentional. He's always intentional. And I'm really excited for what this season is going to bring. But I don't really know what it's going to look like, honestly. But I trust God, and I know that he's just going to do what he does. So we just got to be willing. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, because like we have an idea of what we want to do. It's just, you know, letting God actually help us out, actually like execute it. So that's why like we don't know what's gonna look like, but what we do know is that you're gonna be hearing from different people. You're still going to be hearing from us. We're gonna let God continue guiding us in topics of what we're going through now. Obviously in topics that he feels necessary for us to touch on. I want to bring, you know, a little bit new things. I want to put more dedication to it. So, you know, make sure that you're following us in all of our social medias, TikTok and Instagram. You can subscribe here on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, and we also have Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you guys over there for audio listeners only. And, you know, I'm just super excited for what's to come. I'm super excited for him to work in us and to use us as instruments, and for you guys to be able to like be helped, you know what I mean, for God to be able to have an opportunity to work in you, even if it's just, you know, listening to an episode, you know. But we appreciate each and one of you guys. We appreciate, you know, the comments that we've been seeing and all that. We always like to say, if you guys have like any topics, you guys can always let us know as well. But just stay tuned, turn on your notifications, and I'm just very excited to like dive in to dive in and see what God does, you know, in the season.
Yes.
But with that being said, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.